Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Vyasam Vasishtanaptaram, Shakte Pautram Kalmasham, Parasharat Majam Vande, Shukatatam Taponidam, Kalaye Sundarakaram, Sadaika Priyadarshanam, Ajnana Nashakam Devam, Sadgurum Muralidaram, Murali Mandidakara Kamalam, Munijana Mohanam, Vyatyasthapadam, Manamala Darinam, Prema Bhakta Mandala Nitya Kirtitam, Sri Premika Varadam Ashrayeham, Yasya Smarana Matrena, Jihvayam Vardate Swayam, Mahamantrastam Bhajami, Muralidhara Deshikam, Nigamakalpataror Galitam Palam, Shukamukadamrita Drava Samyutam, Vipata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam, Mugraho Rasikaha Bhuvivavakaha, Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya Cha, Nandagopa Kumaraya, Govindaya Namo Namaha, Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Hare Paramatmane, Pranata Kleshanashaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha, Nama Sankirtanam Yasya, Sarva Papa Pranashanam, Pranamo Durkashamanaha, Tam Namami Harim Param, Shri Haraye Namaha, Shri Haraye Namaha, Shri Haraye Namaha, Gopika Jeevana Smaranam, Govinda, Govinda. Radhe Radhe. By the immense grace of our beloved Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Maharanyam Shri Shri Muralidhara Swamiji, and the causeless mercy of the divine couple, Shri Madhuri Saki Sameta, Shri Premika Varada Thakurji, we have been extremely fortunate to be relishing the divine nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam as part of our year-end Utsavam. And as an icing on the cake, yesterday we had the fortune to be witnessing the divine Radha Madhav Vivah. And today we have even more fortune to be listening to the Rukmini Kalyanam, the divine Vaibhavam of Rukmini and Radha, Rukmini and Krishna marriage today. And Rukmini Kalyanam is narrated in Srimad Bhagavatam in the chapters 52 to 54 by Shukamuni. So Bhagavatam is the holiest of the Puranas. It is said that Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yat Vaishnavanam Priyam. So what does it mean? It means whoever listens to Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam makes them pure. And it is also the Paramadhanam of Vaishnavas. So the question arises, who is a Vaishnava? A Vaishnava is anybody who has uttered the holy names of Hari, irrespective of the philosophy that they follow. They could come from any school of philosophy, but if they have uttered the name of Hari, then they are considered a Vaishnava. And here in Bhagavatam, we have a Parama Vaishnava in the form of Parikshit Maharaj listening to Shukamuni, who is narrating Bhagavatam. So, Parikshit Maharaj has been made to wait until the 10th canto by Shukamuni for him to listen to the divine nectarine stories of Krishna Katha. And why that happened is because Shukamuni was following the Purana Lakshanam given by Vyasacharya. So Puranam has 5 Lakshanam. Sargascha, Pratisargascha, Vamso, Manvantarani cha, Vamsana Charitam Chaiva, Puranam Panchalakshanam. So any Puranam has to talk about these 5 things. It has to talk about primary creation, secondary creation, and the lineage, and the cycles of time, which is basically Manvantaras. And it also has to talk about the Vamsanu Charitram, the Charitram of the solar and the lunar dynasties. And because of that, Parikshit Maharaj has been feeling like a man wandering in a desert with parched throat, with no water inside. And finally he finds an oasis in the middle of the desert when Shukamuni starts describing the divine stories of Krishna in the 10th canto. And Parikshit is not contented yet. He wants to keep on drinking the Krishna Kathamritam. But he is looking forward to the next stage of the divine stories, where he is especially interested in the Rukmini Kalyana Vaibhavam. And Shukamuni, in his typical style, finishes Rukmini marriage in just one shloka. Bhagavan api Govinda upeyeme kurudvaha Vaidarbhi Bhishmaka Sutam Shriyo Matram Swayamvare Pramatya Tarasa Rajnyaha Salvadish Chaidya Pakshagan Pashyatam Sarvalokanam Tarksha Putra Sudamiva. So Shukamuni here says, Bhagavan came, he saw Rukmini and took her away, just like how Garuda stole away the Amrita Kalasham right under the nose of the Devas. And then he finishes off the Rukmini Vaibhavam in just one shloka. And here Parikshit Maharaj, who is still not fully content, he is looking for more Krishna Katha, and he wants the Rukmini Vaibhavam to be expounded in detail. And there are two aspects that we have to understand. Parikshit is related to Krishna. Krishna is the great grand uncle of Parikshit. So he has a special affection because of that. But the most important aspect is Parikshit's very existence is because of Sri Krishna. If Krishna had not showered the grace, Parikshit would have come dead on arrival, DOA. So how that happened? That is the story towards the end of Mahabharata. Ashwatthama releases the Apandavastra directed at the womb of Uttara, and Parikshit is still an unborn child in the womb of Uttara. And at that time, Subhadra and Uttara do Sharanagati to Bhagavan, saying you have to protect the child in the womb and the entire Pandava lineage. And what Bhagavan does is he uses his powers and goes into the womb, and going around and around the womb, the child, Bhagavan gives his kataksham and protects the child. Okay, this is called the going around in Sanskrit is called paritaha, and ikshanam is by just looking. So Parikshit's name itself came from this divine Leela even before he came to the earth. So Parikshit is extremely grateful. So he cannot have enough of Krishna Katha. And that is one aspect. What is the second aspect? Second aspect is he is a Kshatriya after all. So he is looking for some Veera Rasam in the story. So he wants to know the valor of Krishna and how he abducted Rukmini, who all were there, and how did Krishna steal Rukmini during that divine marriage. So Shukamuni here, so he says to Shukamuni, very humbly, he is a little disappointed that the story finished so quickly. So he humbly nudges Shukamuni, Bhagavan Bhishmaka Sutam Rukmini Ruchirananam Rakshasena Vidanena Upeyama Iti Shrutam. So he's politely saying, I have heard that Bhagavan took away Rukmini in a Rakshasa style. Rakshasa style is a style where the bride is stolen away from a rival suitor by force. So that is one style. And Bhagavan, I want to hear more about that. Bhagavan, Shrotamicchami Krishnasya Amita Tejasaha Yata Magada Shalvadin Jitva Kanyam Upaharat. So as I told you, I want to listen to more. That's what Parikshit is asking. How Bhagavan defeated all the rival kings out there. And he is also saying one more thing. So he's got the ruchi listening to Bhagavatam. So we have to understand the city of Parikshit here, right? So Rukmini Kalyanam is narrated on the 5th day towards the end. So that means there's 2 more days before the Saptaham ends. And when the Saptaham ends, what's going to happen to Parikshit? He will be bitten by Takshaka and he has to leave his mortal body and he'll die. But the Krishna Kathamritam has transformed him. He is not worried about death at all. But he wants to know more. And Shukamuni is an expert narrator. He always likes to feel the pulse of the listener. And he wants to know, Parikshit, you've heard a lot. Do you still have the enthusiasm as the enthusiasm vein? So it's a test for Parikshit. And Parikshit passes the test with flying colors here by showing the curiosity and more enthusiasm to listen to more. So, and also here he says, Brahman Krishna Katha Punya Madvi Lokam Alapakaha Konu Tripyeta Srinvanaha Sritagnyonu Nityanutanaha. Listening to Krishna Katha automatically purifies all the impurities of the mind. And who will be satiated with just a little bit of Krishna Katha? And every time a Krishna Katha is told, he's saying it is Nitya Nutana, even though it is the same Navanita Chora, Dhamma or Leela that we have heard many, many times. Our Ruchi, once you have the Ruchi, you always find new things in those Leelas again and again. And that is what Parikshit is interested in. And also, as he mentions, that it removes the impurities in the mind, Krishna Katha. And that is exactly what gopis also say in Gopika Gita. Tavakatamritam tapta jivanam kavibiriditam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvignanti ye Burida Janaha. So, Chukamani clearly understands that what Parikshit is looking for. And now Chukamani starts the Katha of how the Vaibhavam started. So he starts with the shloka Rajasid Bhishmako Nama Vidarbhatir Padir Mahan Tasya Pancha Bhavan Putraha Kanyaika Chavaranana. So he says there was a king called Bhishmaka who was the Adipati of the king of the kingdom Vidarbha Desham. And Shukamuni immediately drops a word here saying he was a Mahan. But Bhishmaka was just a king. What did he do to be a Mahan? Is he also an enlightened Jnani like Shukamuni? No. So we have to understand that he's going to have a special sambandham with Bhagavan. So when somebody has a special sambandham, the Mahan word automatically comes in. So he's going to be the father-in-law of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. And we see this in the Alvar Charitram as well. There are 12 Alvars. Out of 12 Alvars, the Periyalvar title, the Periya, is a word that comes from the Sanskrit word Mahat. Mahat is coming from Mahan. Mahan is coming from Mahat. So the Periyalvar title goes only to Vishnu Chittar from Srivilliputtur, who happened to have the fortune of being the father-in-law of Lord Ranganatha. So we see that reference in the connection here. So obviously, if you are going to be Bhagavan's father-in-law, you are a Mahan by default. So, and then he talks about the children, the family of Bhishmaka. There are 5 sons, and then he separates them saying, and also a lovely faced daughter. So with this, what we have to understand is the others were very poor looking, and they were not only poor in their looks, but they are also poor in their qualities, which is what we will see in the next shloka. So then Chukamani goes and gives the names of all the sons and the daughter of Bhishmaka. Rukmi Agrajo, Rukma Rato, Rukma Bahuranantaraha, Rukma Kesho, Rukma Mali, Rukminyesha Swasasati. So here Shukamani is giving all the names. First son is Rukmi, and then comes Rukmarata, and then comes Rukma Bahu, then comes Rukma Keshi and Rukma Mali, followed by Rukmini, who is a Swasasati. He is having all the auspicious qualities. That's what it means. She's impeccable in character. So which means others are not. So we have to read between the lines here, right? So we see that every name of the children, Bhishmaka's children, has that Rukmam prefix to it. Rukmam in Sanskrit means gold. So there is no wonder why there is Rukmam in the names of the children, because the goddess Sri Mahalakshmi, goddess of wealth, herself has been born into this kingdom. Why won't we have gold in the names? The gold, the Khazana is filled with gold, so the names also have gold. Unfortunately, the daughters don't have gold, the sons don't have the golden qualities, but Rukmini compensates for all of it with her impeccable character. So then Shukamuni delves straight into the childhood of Rukmini Devi. So Bhishmaka is a pious king. He always entertains sadhus in his court. He makes sure that Rukmini is always nourished with the divine stories and avatar leelas from the Puranas. So he calls all learned men and sadhus to his kingdom, and they start feeding Rukmini the nectar of all Bhagavan Gunam from childhood itself. So she's getting sadhu sangam and satsangam from childhood. Obviously, the sons do not have this bhagyam, they stay away from it. So the sadhus start with the divine avatars of Vishnu. First, they talk about Matsya Avataram. So in Matsya Avataram, Rukmini, after hearing, wonders, oh, Bhagavan took the form of Vishnu, fish himself to save the Vedas, to establish Dharma. And there are 330 million devas, 33 mukkodi devar irukanga. But none of them had the inclination to come and protect the Vedas. Bhagavan did that. What a Bhagavan. And then Kurma Avataram comes. Bhagavan came, despite devas not showing interest, Bhagavan still came to their rescue. He came as Kurma to support the Samudra Manthanam. And then Amritam came and that was given to devas. So Bhagavan always is doing the right things to support Dharma. And then the avatars keep on coming. The sadhus talk about Narsimha Avatara, where she hears about how Bhagavan compassionately came to rescue a devotee who was just a Chinna Balagan Pachilam, Balagan Prahaladan. And then by this time, she is completely taken over by the divine qualities of all the various avatars of Vishnu. And Ramayana is narrated. She is listening to Ramacharitam. And she is bowled over by the Kalyanam Gunam of Rama. So Rama is a Gunavan, right? He came as Purna Avataram, but never showed his divine qualities. He walked like a normal human being, but never strayed away from the path of Dharma, despite being put into so many troubles. So she's highly, highly impressed. And then she asks the sadhus, is Rama still around? She's inquiring. And then the sadhus say, no, that happened in the previous Yuga, Treta Yuga. Now we are in Dwapara Yuga. But then Rukmini gets a hunch. She knows there is something big coming which is going to be very close to her. And that is what is going to be her final destination. Then comes Krishna Katha. Tam adbudam balakam ambujekshanam chaturbujam shankagadadyudayudam srivatsalakshmam galashobi kaustubam pitambaram sandrapayuda saubagam maharha vaiturya kirita kundalatvisha parishvakta sahasra kuntalam uddama kanchyanga Kankanadibihi Virochamanam Vasudeva Aikshata. So she wonders, what a divine entry. This is a special avataram. And then the sadhus delve into the divine leelas of Bala leelas of Krishna, starting from Putana, Moksham, and all the asuras that Krishna is killing. He's doing the asura vadam, but then he's doing all of whatever Krishna does. They all, Kamsa sent so many asuras to kill him, but Krishna did good. Even though he killed them, they all got Sadgati at the end. So, but here Rukmini Devi is slowly, getting attracted to Krishna, and she's getting possessive even. And when Navanita Chora Leela is narrated, and she's arguing, how can people call Krishna as a thief? What did he steal? He stole Navanitam. And where did the Navanitam come from? Krishna is the creator of this world. And in the world, Gokulam is there. The cows are there in the Gokulam, and the butter came from the cows, and curd was churned and butter came. So everything came from Krishna. So he stole his own property. Why are they calling him a thief? And then, okay, let it be that they call him a thief, that's okay. But then why did they say that Krishna lied? Can Krishna ever lie? So when Krishna came with butter all over his face and mouth in front of Yashodama, Krishna was saying, everybody heard Krishna say, Main nahi makhan khayo, maiya mori, main nahi makhan khayo. But Krishna was only telling the truth. They were not looking at this from Krishna's perspective. Because Krishna was saying, Main nahi makhan khayo, maiya mori, मैं नहीं माखन खायो. The Krishna was telling the truth. Nobody understood him. And then the other Leelas happen. She hears about Govardhan Leela, and we saw this a couple of days ago. And she is admiring how Bhagavan is letting even the biggest of apacharam to be easily forgiven. Indra did so much apacharam, but then at the end he was magnanimous to accept the Govinda Pattabhishekam from Indra. And then now Krishna is slowly entering her through the years, and now he is like completely into her mind, and he is full of art kontam Bhagavan, slow. Now Rasa Leela comes. And when Rasa Leela comes, she is feeling the waves of bliss, and she becomes a gopi herself, and she imagines going to Golokam. And our Gurunatha has a beautiful song written where Gurunatha has written this Madhura Geetam in a Nayika Bhavam. Gopiyar naduve mani mandapam kanden, Gopiyar naduve mani mandapam kanden, Achyudan charanathai adayave aழுது நின்றேன், Achyudan charanathai adayave aழுது நின்றேன், கோலோகம் சென்று வந்தேன் நான், கோகுல பாலனை நேரில் காண கோலோகம் சென்று வந்தேன் நான். So she imagined herself as a gopi in Golokam, and she meets Krishna. And now Krishna is completely filled her mind, and she has decided now, this is my perfect husband. So she says, Sa upashrutya mukundasya rupa virya gunashriyah grihagate giyamanastam mene sadrisham patim. So she says, Krishna is my sadrisham patim, perfect husband. I have listened to all the Rupam, Gunam, Veeram of Krishna, and I cannot find anyone else as a match for me. And what is happening here is there is also sadhus going from Vidarbha Desham all the way to Dwarka as well. And the same sadhu are talking about Rukmini's qualities to Krishna. And Bhagavan is also bowled over at the same time. He also thinks Rukmini is a perfect wife. Look, listening to her divine beauty and her qualities. Tam buddhi lakshana audarya rupa sheela gunashrayam krishnascha sadrishim bharyam samodvodum manodade. So sadrishim bharyam, Krishna thinks she is sadrishim bharyam, perfect wife, and Rukmini thinks Krishna is sadrisham patim, perfect husband. So the union of the two perfect people or the perfect couple is about to happen. Time is all ripe for that to happen. Okay? And so when that happens, Rukmini comes of age to be given in marriage to be given away in marriage. Bhishmaka understands the heart of Rukmini. He wants Rukmini to be married to Krishna. So he calls all the courtiers and conducts an opinion poll. And he says, I am looking for a suitable groom. I have somebody in mind. Can you all please tell or suggest a name? Everybody in the in his courtroom, they are saying Gopala. So he's counting Gopala, 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 Gopala. Suddenly one voice comes from a corner. Shishupala. Oh, where did this Shishupala come from? And then he looks, and there is no prize to guess where it could have come from. It is Rukmini himself, the eldest son. Suddenly he says Shishupala should be the perfect match for Rukmini. And then Bhishmaka calls Rukmini and says, Rukmini, what are you saying? Where is Rukmini? Where is Shishupala? First of all, where is Krishna and where is Shishupala? They are not even matched. There are so many differences. And Rukmini says, that is exactly what I'm saying. they are not, they are completely different. Shishupala, and then he says Shishupala is, he puts Shishupala at a higher pedestal, and then he gives reasons. First reason he gives, Shishupala has done 20 years of education, whereas Bhagavan is a dropout. You know that, Pa? And then, so I don't know what Shishupala did in the 20 years. Shishupala, we have to understand, is the Attapayan of Krishna, right? His mother, Shuddhasrava, was the aunt of Krishna. But from childhood, there is a dvesham. If Rukmini is if you have to put a chart of all the Krishna dveshis, Rukmini will come way, way behind Shishupala. Shishupala is like number one dveshi. Krishna, and he is number one in Krishna Nindanam. So Alvar says this about Shishupala. Ketpar sevisudu, கீழ்மை வசவுகளே வையும் சேட்பால் பழம் பகைவன் சிசுபாலன் திருவடி தாட்பால் அடைந்த தன்மை அறிவாயோ அறிந்தேன். So basically Alvar is saying கேட்பா செவிசுடு கீழ்மை வசவுகளே வையும் சிசுபாலன், meaning whoever listens to the curses that Sishupalan gives, their ears will burn, it seems. And who are those people? They are not even Krishna Bhaktas. They are sworn enemies of Krishna. Even they will go out. So it seems like they had Nama Nindanam session, like how we have Nama Sankirtanam session. And then when Shishupala starts cursing, everybody walks out of the room. People like Jarasindha, Shalva, Dantavakra, they all say, Shishupala, we cannot bear this. And then they go. So that is the Shishupalan that Rukmini is chosen for Rukmini. That's because it's a futile argument, right? So he has Dussanga, he doesn't understand Bhagavan's divine qualities. And Bhagavan, why did he go to a guru to learn those 64 skills in 64 days? He went to Sandipani because Sandipani wanted Krishna to be his Sishya. And Sishya also sets an example here. I mean, I am the Parabrahman. Everything came from me. In Vishnu Sahasranama, the Falashruti, we hear this, right? Yogo Jnanam Tata Sankyam Vidya Shilpadi Karmacha Veda Shastrani Vijnanam Etat Sarvam Janardana. Everything came from Krishna. So he doesn't need to learn anything, but then he sets the right example saying, if you are learning any Vidya, that should come as Guru Mukam, from Guru Acharya Mukam. So then the next argument comes. Father, our Rukmini Devi is a Gauri. Okay, she is like Vidyut, lightning, that kind of complexion. Whereas Krishna is Meghashyama, he is dark in complexion. How will that match? You tell me. And then, so he doesn't understand, Rukmini doesn't understand. Again, he is not a Rasika because he is in Dussangam. So he doesn't understand that a beautiful necklace needs shades of, needs dark shades and light shades, and the contrast is what makes it beautiful. So Guruji sings this in this Madhur Geetam, right? Spartika Spartika Maya Gopi Mandaladam Gopi Gopi Madhyama Ragada Shyam Spartika Spartika Maya Gopi Mandaladam Gopi Gopi Madhyama Ragada Shyam. So between each Spartika, Marakada Shyam, Krishna was shining as an emerald there, right? So that amount of Rasika Tanmay is not there in him because of his Dussanga. And then the last example, I think, and then he talks about Krishna's limbs. He's saying Krishna doesn't look proper. He is bent in 3 places. He's always leaning on somebody. Something is wrong with Krishna. I think I cannot give my sister to somebody whose limbs are not correct. But this is again an argument that comes from a very bad mind, which has not been exposed to Bhagavan's Gunam and Satsangam, right? So Krishna's beauty is beyond compare. Even the greatest of jnanis who are enlightened, who follow the Advaita Margam, they are enchanted by Krishna's beauty. So there is a Kirtanam by Sadashiva Brahmendra, where he is describing the beauty. Sadashiva Brahmendra is a Parama Advaiti. There he sings, Madashiki Pincha Alankrita Chikure, Madashiki Pincha Alankrita Chikure, Mahaniya Kapola Vijita Mukure, Mahaniya Kapola Vijita Mukure, Manasa Sancharare, Brahmani Manasa Sancharare. So he is Parama Advaiti. How he should be singing about Krishna? He should be saying that Brahman who is Sarvavyapi, who is Nirakaram, he should be using abstract qualities, but he doesn't do that. He's saying that Brahman, which has a mile pili on the head, and that Brahman, whose cheeks, the shine of the cheeks, surpass any mirror in the world. So he describes it that way. But the argument is very futile here, right? So his argument won't stand in any court, Rukmini's argument. But unfortunately, he is in the court of Bhishmaka, who is a very weak king, right? He's pious, but he is attached to his son. He cannot overrule his son's choice. But he does one thing. He prays to Krishna. Krishna, you have to take care of Rukmini. I don't have a choice here. And then Rukmini's marriage gets arranged. And it happens very quickly. So Rukmini moves very quickly. He says, the marriage will happen in 2 days. Right? And this news reaches Rukmini Devi. Rukmini is like totally shattered. I have Manasikma married Bhagavan. How can I think of any human being as my consort, let alone Shishupala, who cannot even be counted in the humankind? He's some beast, some animal. What is this? Krishna, why are you subjecting me to this kind of troubles? And then she starts crying, starts praying to Krishna. And Yadrichaya, Krishna Kripaya, a Brahmana comes in. He knocks at the door and he comes in. It's a Unchavati Brahmana. And then he comes singing Kshemam Kuru Gopala Santatam Mama Kshemam Kuru Gopala. Who is this? Singing exactly the words that will give me solace at this time. Who is this? And then Rukmini sees it's the Brahmana. She invites the Brahmana inside, does all the due respects, gives him an asanam, does pada sevanam, washes his feet, but then the Brahmana sees her and he immediately figures out there is something wrong here, okay? There's something serious going on. Then he asks, you tell me what's going on. You look very sad. And then Rukmini explains that my marriage has been fixed against my will to somebody called Shishupala, and my mind has already been given to Mukunda. So the Brahmana says, don't worry, this is all human plan. There's something called divine plan. And the divine plan will always overcome all these human plans. So what I'll do is I'll go, give me a message, I'll take the message to Dwaraka Disha, go to Dwaraka, meet Krishna in person, send the message, and Krishna will protect you for sure. So he goes to the palace of Krishna in Dwaraka, the Brahmana. And the Brahmana is well received by Krishna. Krishna is a Brahmana Priyan. Again, there is a name in Vishnu Sahasranamam. Brahmanyo, Brahmakrit Brahma, Brahma Vivardhanaha, Brahmavid Brahmano, Brahmi, Brahmagyo, Brahmana Priya. Krishna likes the association of sadhus and Brahmanas who are well educated, well learned, who have the Brahma Vidya. So Krishna knows how to receive them, how to respect them. So Krishna washes the Brahmana's feet and feeds him sufficiently, and then lets him rest for a while. And while resting, Krishna is actually pressing the leg of doing pada sevana to the Brahmana. And then while he's doing that, he's looking at the face of the Brahmana, and he sees contentment Usually Brahmanas come, they usually have some Brahmanas are not very rich, they probably come for some material help. Krishna couldn't see anything of that sort. This Brahmana is very contented. And then he asks, so looking at your face, I can see that you don't need anything, but if there is anything I can offer, let me know. And then the Brahmana says, I have a message from the princess of Vidarbha, Rukmini Devi. And then Krishna is very eager now. Okay, what's the message? Please read the message. And Rukmini has written 7 verses as a message, indicating that she wants to walk the Saptapadi, 7 steps with Krishna, which we do in marriage. And Krishna is an open book. He doesn't treat this as a private message. He lets the Brahmana read it. The Brahmana reads those verses. The first verse goes, Shrutva gunana bhuvana sundara shrinvatam te nirvishya karna vivarehi harato angatapam rupam drasham drishimatam akilartalabham tvayachyuta vishati chitram apatrapam te. So here, Rukmini in her first verse wants to make a very good impression with Krishna, and then she chooses some word to address Krishna. She contemplated using Dwarakadisha. How would that look like? Oh Dwarakadisha! Then Krishna might hear that and say, this seems like a public grievance petition from a subject in distress. So let me call my minister and he'll take care of it, and may not read the message at all. So then she says, no, I don't want that. Then she thinks of using Vedavedya. Vedavedya. So now Krishna says, this is mokshan case, mokshan gurtala santosh madam. So that is not going to work. I want Krishna's marriage. That's what I want. Moksha mayargunam. Then she thinks of using Laukika terms that we use, dear Kanna, dear Krishna. That is even more dangerous. So she avoids that, but she chooses the apt word, which is Bhuvana Sundara. So Bhuvana Sundara basically means the most beautiful in the world, right? There's no doubt about it. But then it also means that the whole world is beautiful because of you. Because of the Sundaram who makes the whole Bhuvanam beautiful is Bhuvana Sundara. We can interpret it that way as well. And then, of course, she doesn't stop with the beauty, right? She is really bowled over by the qualities, Kalyana Gunam of Bhagavan, right? So that's why she says Shrutva Gunan. And then she says Shrutva Gunan, I have fixed you in my mind, Krishna, Bhuvana Sundara. And then the second shloka, Katva Mukunda Mahati Kulashila Rupa Vidyavayo Dravina Damabihi Atmatulyam Dhira Patim Kulavatina Vinita Kanya Kale Nrishimma Narloka Manobhiramam. So here she says, Mukunda, you are beyond compare. There is no one like you in terms of lineage, in terms of character, beauty, knowledge, youthfulness, and opulences. There is no one. Vanakanika Nida Krishna. So, which sober-minded girl of marriageable age will think of anyone else? You are the first choice, Krishna. In America, we say it's a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer. So that's what she says here. Then, in the third shloka, she goes on to say, Tanme bhavan kaluvrita patirangajayam atmarpitascha bhavatotra vibho videhi ma virabhagam abhimarshatu chaidyarat gomayuvat mrigapater balim ambujaksha. So now Rukmini is slowly kindling the Veera Rasam in Bhagavan. So here she says, I have already made up my mind that you are my husband. Okay? Now what you have to do, you have to come and take your hero's portion and steal me away. So we have seen in National Geographic, you will see that a lot of hyenas are working on a kill. The lion comes, hyenas run away. The lion takes its own share, right? So that's exactly what she's saying. I don't want the jackals to be enjoying the hero's portion. Come as a hero, show your valor and take me. And then, so she kind of has this conversation within these verses, right? And then she says, so now Krishna, you must be thinking, am I qualified to marry you? Then she gives all the qualities. Bhuteshta datta niyama vrata deva vipra guru archanadibihi alam bhagavan pareshah aradito yadi gadagraja etya panim grinatu me na damagosha sutabdyo anye. So she's saying, I have done pious rituals, I have done charity, I have followed niyama, I have done many vrata to satisfy the devas, the sadhus, I have done guru archana, and most importantly, I have worshipped you, Achyuta. Here she calls him Gadagraja, and you have to come and take me. I am not a property of anyone else. So now she has made a case for Krishna. And now, hopefully by this time Krishna will be convinced and he is ready to take the next step, right? Now she has to give Krishna a plan for this to happen. So the plan starts here. All she says in the next 3 verses is, Krishna, you have to come and take me, showing your valor. That's the first thing. And then you have to defeat everybody over there and steal me away. Then you might ask, she puts herself in Krishna's shoes and gives the same answer. It's like FAQs. You don't have to answer. I've given the answer already. So next she says, you might think, how can I come? Where will I see you? You will be in the Antapura. How will I steal you? Don't worry. There is a ritual in our dynasty. We visit Kuladevam on the day of marriage. Our Kuladevam is goddess Ambika. And I will get out of the palace, go to the temple which is in the outskirts. That is a good opportunity for you to steal me. And then the last shloka, she concludes saying, I hope I have gotten your mercy based on my message here. If I have not become a patram of your mercy, your kripa patram, then I will do Ghora tapas and give up my life. But I won't stop there. I will come back hundreds of janma again and again until your mercy showers on me. So the message ends here. The Brahmana says, that is the message. Yadunanda, the ball is in your court. What are you going to do? But here, one thing that Brahmana mentioned in these verses that is hidden is the Shad Angas of Sharanagati. The 6 parts of Sharanagati is being depicted by Rukmini here. And what are those? The first one is Anukulisa Sankalpa, doing what is pleasing to Bhagavan. Bhagavan ka anukulama irukka seiyirudhu. Pratikulasya varjanam, not doing anything that displeases Bhagavan. So Rukmini has been doing things that pleases Bhagavan. She has been avoiding things that displeases Bhagavan. And then the third thing is Rakshishyati iti vishwasaha, Dhrida nambika, faith in Bhagavan, that Bhagavan will protect me at all costs. And then Goptrutva varnam, that basically says, acknowledge that Bhagavan is the sole protector, there's no one else. Needa enak gadi, vera yarume illa. And then Karpanyam. Karpanyam is absolute humility. So showing like helplessness, going in front of Bhagavan and basically opening our pockets and say, my pockets are empty, Bhagavan, Needa picha podno. And finally, total surrender, Atma Nikshepanam. So she shows all these 6 Shat Angas of Sharanagati in these 7 verses. Krishna smiles after this and then he says, oh Brahmana, you know what? I have also been thinking about Vaidharbi, which is Princess Rukmini. I cannot sleep. So I'll definitely go, trash all those evil kings and get her, win her back. And bring her back here. So there, you can think of this as a movie now. The first half is done, intermission. Now the movie is going to go in a very fast pace because it's all action time, execution of the plan. So Krishna asks his charioteer Daruka to get the chariot ready. So there are 4 horses. Shugamuni Manakati is mentioning all the names of the horses. Sa Cha Ashvaihi Saibe Sugriva Megapushpa Balaha Kaihi Yuktam Ratam Upaniya Paniya Tatastu Pranjali Agratha. The names of the horses are Shaibya, Sugriva, Megapushpa and Balahaka. So this might be an important question in case we conduct Purana this year or whenever we conduct. This will be a very important question. And these are, why is this important? Why is Rukmini mentioning the names of these horse Bhagavatas? Because they are going to do the divine Kainkaryam of uniting Bhagavan and Rukmini Devi. So these horses are ready. Dharuka is ready. He is just waiting for Bhagavan's glance to start. Bhagavan says, let's go. And then he takes the Brahmana. Both of them mount the chariot, and then the chariot is on the way to Vidarbha. So now the focus shifts to Vidarbha Desham, the capital of Vidarbha Desham, Kundinapuram. So in Kundinapuram there is Amali Tumali and there is marriage arrangements happening for Shishupala and Rukmini Vivaham. Bhishma had to do it, but he is hoping Bhagavan will do the miracle. And then Balaramji is out of the scene here. Krishna has been handling all of this and Krishna went away. Balaramji normally is never left behind in Krishna's Leelas. In Kalinga Leela, Krishna found a way to keep Balaramji out. We won't go into that. But here, Balaramji doesn't want to miss the action. Moreover, it is a love for protecting Bhagavan. That's what, some of Adi Shesha, right? So he wants to make sure that whatever Krishna's mission is, it is successful. He knows that Krishna is going to take Rukmini away, and there is going to be rival kings, Shishupala supporters, loyalists. They will bring their armies to make sure that Krishna doesn't crash the party. So Balaramji thinks about all of this, and then he also assembles the Yadava army, the Vrishni army, and then he follows Bhagavan as well to Vidarbha Desha, to Kundina. They all reach Kundina on the wee hours of the morning when Rukmini Devi is about to be married. Rukmini Devi is in his quarters, she's sleepless, and she's like, where did the Brahmana go? I hope he gave the message to Krishna, and there's no signs of the Brahmana yet. But then her thighs start twitching, and her left arm, left thigh, and left eye starts twitching. For females, this is an auspicious sign for good things to happen. So she knows something good is coming, but the Brahmana is not there. Where is he? And then the Brahmana shows up. Shows up with a very happy face. So seeing his face itself, Rukmini understood. Kalyanam Bhagavan Kuda. So the Brahmana comes and tells Devi, Krishna is here. He is here right now in Kundina. So you are going to marry. Your future is in Dwarka. You are going to be the prime Mahishi of Bhagavan. So Rukmini Devi is like completely overjoyed and elated. And now she falls at the feet of Brahmana. She has nothing to offer, but she offers the pranam. And the Brahmana happily leaves. And Rukmini Devi is now ready to go to the next stage of the plan, which is going to the temple, right? And in the meantime, Bhishmaka also hears of Balaramji and Krishna's arrival. He is very happy about it, but then he has to maintain that secrecy. So secretly he sends his loyal supporters to take care of Bhagavan and Balaramji, and he arranges for accommodation, showers hospitality on them. And then here Rukmini Devi is followed by a retinue, and they all go to the temple, Goddess Ambika temple. Rukmini Devi goes in and prays to Goddess Parvati and takes a blessing and partakes the prasadam, and then comes out of the temple in the marriage hall. And she knows Krishna is here, and Krishna also comes in the front to announce that he is here, right? And so in a pretext of adjusting her hair falling on the temple, she has a glance on Krishna. Their eyes meet, and they both favor each other and also convey the message immediately that Krishna, it's go time, are you ready? And Krishna is absolutely ready. He's just waiting for this moment, right? And Rukmini Devi gets out, she climbs down the stairs of the temple. 1, 2, 3. Fourth step, before she even knew it, she's on the chariot. Krishna has swooped her. So this Megha Shyama, this dark cloud, has swooped the white lightning and put her on the chariot before everybody knew. So there is dark cloud, there is lightning, and then the dark cloud moves away very fast. The horses are all ready. Once Bhagavan and Rukmini Devi on the chariot, they fly like a wind. And the dark cloud doesn't stay in one place, it just moves away so fast, so swiftly. So Cloud is there, lightning is there, what else is missing? And thunder happens in the form of applause from everybody around. Everybody is applauding, including the loyal supporters of Shishupala, and who are like, what? How did this happen? They're admiring. Did Bhagavan come from left or right? I didn't see properly. One guy says probably definitely from left. One guy says from right. So there's all kinds of arguments going on. But the 4 horse Bhagavatas had taken the chariot to a very long distance. All you see is just dust. And slowly dust settles down. These supporters of Shishupala, they also come to their senses. And they're like, what? What is the purpose that we were here for? We came here to prevent Krishna from stealing away Rukmini, and now we are admiring the whole abduction? Come on, we should do something about it. What? We have to help Shishupala. And then they run, get their armies ready and run to bring back Rukmini. Run after Bhagavan. The Yadava army is silently waiting outside. This is their moment of Kainkaryam, right? They come and with their bows twanging, they shower a rain of arrows and they are destroying the Shishupala's forces left and right. It's being destroyed, and they try to follow. It's not possible. It's an absolute victory. But Rukmini Devi in the chariot is a little worried. Bhagavan, what's going to happen? The Vrishni army, will they be able to manage it? And Bhagavan here immediately has that nice gesture. Don't worry, Rukmini Devi. Your army will finish them in no time. So Bhagavan already has made her the queen of Dwaraka, and he calls the Yadava army as your army. That is so sweet. Already Rukmini Devi is feeling beloved and belonging to Dwaraka. So that's exactly what happens. The army, Yadava army, crushes the Shishupala forces, and Bhagavan flees away, right? Run like the wind. And then, so what is happening to Shishupala? Now we have to come to the Shishupala side of things. The news reaches Jarasandha. Jarasandha is in the palace. He is the best man of Shishupala, right? So he gets the news, and Jarasandha, he has seen this many times. So Jarasandha goes and he knocks at the door of Shishupala's room. Shishupala is sitting there on a chair, and Shishupala is building castles in thin air, looking at him in the mirror. Today is my marriage with Rukmini Devi. And then Jarasandha walks in, and then Shishupala tells him, shall we go? So he thinks Jarasandha has called him, come here to take him to the marriage hall. Jarasandha says, yeah, let's go. And then they come out. Then say, which way? This way. What? The mandapam is the other way, right? Yeah, the mandapam is the other way, but we have to go this way. Why? What about Rukmini Kalyanam? Rukmini Kalyanam is done. Shishupala Kalyanam will have to wait. There will be somebody for you, don't worry. Rukmini is gone. And then he goes into a very philosophical mode. He gives his own experiences. Actually, it is like a Gita Amritam he's giving from his own side. Life is full of ups and downs, Shishupala. It happened to me so many times. You know how many times I went and raided Mathura? 17 times. Bhagavan, he defeated me, but every time Bhagavan always ensured that I am alive. He spared me every time. And then again and again I brought back the forces. Bhagavan did the same thing. But this Asata doesn't understand that Bhagavan did that because it's easy for him to wait in one place so that the armies will come back again and again and kill Jarasandha's forces, all the other army people of Jarasandha, right? And instead of going and searching for Yarba evil, so that's what he did. And then Shishupala is now kind of reluctantly convinced, okay, this is life, I have to go. And then they both walk away. But there is one person out there who is totally enraged, and that is Rukmini. He's like, how can this happen? And then he dons his armor, assembles the army, goes and tells Bhishmaka, Father, I'm going to get Krishna, I'm going to kill him and bring Rukmini back. And Bhishmaka is like, can that even happen? And then Bhishma is like, okay, now what do you want me to do? I'm going, right? If I'm not able to do it, I'll never return. And then Bhishmaka is like, really, Appa, good returns. He's not going to come back. That is never going to happen. Then Rukmini goes chasing Krishna, And I always wondered, Bhagavan went long time ago from the mandapam, how did Rukmini go and somehow confront him, right? Bhagavan must have taken a break to have a coffee break with Rukmini Devi somewhere, and then because of that, Bharatsa, he went and was able to get hold of Bhagavan. And then he goes like foolishly, the army is there, but then he goes first, and then he says, "Oh, I'm here to kill you." He challenges Bhagavan for a duel, and Bhagavan entertains it a little bit. எவ்வளோ பெரிய அசுரா நிமிஷத்துல வதம் பண்ணிருக்க பகவான். But he plays a little bit with Rukmini, and he pins him down, and then he takes his sword out. Bhagavan was not planning to kill, but it's battle. He's been provoking Bhagavan. Balramji comes at that appropriate moment, and then he says, "Krishna, what are you trying to do?" So now he senses some tension here, right? So Rukmini Devi is with him, and they are starting on a new life, and he doesn't want any conflict between the in-laws on either side. So he tries to ease the tension, and then so he immediately tells Krishna, "Krishna, you should not be doing this. You cannot. He's your brother-in-law after all. You cannot kill him." And then she turns to Rukmini Devi on the other side and says, "Rukmini, you cannot also be defending your brother. You are not Krishna Patni. Whatever happens, it is you have to abide with Krishna's will." So then Rukmini Devi understands. She fell at the feet of Bhagavan to spare Rukmini's life. But Balramji eases the tension, but they have to give some punishment to Rukmini, right? So they Krishna shaves half the head, half the mustache. So Krishna definitely did not do that to humiliate him, but he knew that Rukmini is vow. So you will break your vow. So I'll do something so that at least you'll be ashamed not to go, right? At least your vow will be preserved. And Rukmini is like dejected, and he said, "I'm not going to return." And he establishes his own residence there. And now the scene shifts to Dwarka. Dwarka is in a very, very jubilant mode. They all know that Bhagavan has stolen away Rukmini from the marriage, and now he's heading to Dwarka. Everybody is so happy. It's in a festive mode. And Bhagavan enters Dwarka, directly goes to the palace of Vasudeva and Devaki, falls at their feet, introduces Rukmini. And Vasudeva and Devaki are extremely pleased. What a Gunavati you've got for us as the daughter-in-law. And they tell Krishna, "Krishna, you never gave us any burden at any point. We were in prison cell when we were born. We couldn't even go do toy shopping or clothes shopping. You came with all the toys. You came with Pitambaram. And then as parents, we are supposed to protect you. But you took care of yourself. All the demons, you thrashed yourself. And now you also lessen the burden, remove the burden of finding a suitable bride. Krishna, you are the best child. But give us the privilege of conducting a formal marriage for you." And then they choose a date, and they erect a Sahastra Tamba Mantapa, 1,000-pillar Mantapam, and Bhagavan marries Rukmini in pomp and style. That is in detail. The visual is given in Aloki Rukmini Kalyanam, which we'll sing at the end by Narayana Tirtha. But I want to wrap up the story with the Tattvartham behind Rukmini marriage. So here, Bhagavan is Paramatma, Rukmini is Jivatma. So the Jivatma is hankering to unite with Paramatma. Rukmini Devi is wanting to unite with Krishna. But what is stopping her, or what is the hurdle that is posed to her? It is in the form of 5 senses for the Jiva, represented by the 5 brothers of Rukmini. And then the Jiva prays earnestly to Bhagavan. When the Jiva earnestly prays, Bhagavan sends a Uttama Guru. It's exactly what happened. The Brahmana showed up in the form of a Guru. And the Brahmana is none other than Garuda Alvar himself. Because Garuda Alvar wanted to do a similar Kainkariam like Hanuman ji did in Ramavataram by uniting Sita Mata and Ramchandramurti. So here he said, I have to play this role here. So Garuda Alvar came. And why does Garuda Alvar? Because Chudamani specifically uses the word Dvija. Dvija means twice born. Dvija refers to Brahmana because the Brahmana is twice born. When he is born, the actual birth, when the Upayanam is done, it is the second birth. So Brahmana is the Dvija. And a bird also is called a Dvija in Sanskrit. Dvija means twice born for birds also because the bird is born as an egg, and when the egg breaks out and the bird comes to life, that is the second birth. So it is indeed Garuda Arva who came. So, and the Garuda Arva is Guru Tattvam, right? Garuda Arva has two wings, and the Guru, and the two wings represent Jnanam and Anushtanam of the Guru. One wing represents knowledge, the other wing represents the austerities that the Guru has. And with the Jnanam and austerity, the Guru is able to take Jivatma to the doorsteps of Paramatma. And Paramatma then accepts the Jivatma and does the Atma Vivaham by destroying all the evil qualities like Mada Matsaryam, Mamakaram, Ahankaram. And Bhagavan accepts the Jivatma. And that is the Tattvam of Rukmini Kalyanam here. I'm indeed extremely fortunate to have talked about Rukmini Kalyanam today as a Purti of this year-end Utsavam. I thank Atlanta and Ahmedwar for giving me the opportunity, and my humble pranams to Ramona, who is Upanyasam I used as a base to create the script for this. Thanks a lot. Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam Govinda Govinda Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.